joining us. Thanks for joining us.
This is Tyler. I'm returning. I'll be with my co-hosts Lucas Scott and Jack Geist today. We're going to be talking to Chris Rivoli. Chris started as a comedian, started up in Wilmington, some open mic nights at Dead Crow Comedy, a couple other places. He'll get into that with us. He is now in Raleigh. He performs quite a bit. Open mic nights, Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill. We'll get into the whole thing. Go check him out. July 27th, he's in the semifinals of NC's Funniest 2022 with a bunch of a few other people in the semifinals. Going to be on the 26th and the 27th at Good Nights. Chris will be there. Funny, nice guy. We had a great talk with him. Let's tap in.
Do you have a theme, or we just talk about whatever?
Specifically do only white male comedians.
Fuck yeah,
in
dude.
the Raleigh area.
For real?
No.
I was about to
just
say,
do
like,
any creative
listen,
thing.
man, I've seen some themes, so you never,
We want to
you
be
never
extremely
know.
specific.
Yeah.
Like super unique. Nobody can
Does
copy
this
it.
extend? Or you just take it out?
Yeah, either way.
Okay.
It'll click pretty good audio from there. But no, we honestly,
Cool.
we typically pretty much talk like just about artistic process.
Okay.
Specifically
Yeah.
around NC, I would say.
Nice.
Yeah, we've been trying to be local. We'll see how it goes.
Nice.
It might expand.
Cool,
Probably
dude.
just talk about whatever, like honestly, whatever. I
Yeah,
mean, more
we will
focus
say.
on.
Yeah, I was gonna say you are our first comedian
Cool.
for sure.
Fuck
We're
yeah,
very
dude.
excited for
Hell
that.
yeah. I'm excited about it, dude. This will be good.
Oh yeah, so we got Chris Rivoli with us. Is that correct?
Yeah, Rivoli.
Rivoli.
Yeah.
Rivoli.
You guys,
Is that Italian?
everyone fucks it up, yeah.
Okay. What
Yeah.
part of Italy?
So, I'm half Sicilian.
Okay.
And then half, I don't fucking know, but I know it's Italian.
Yeah.
But I just know I'm a half Sicilian, so.
I'm half Sicilian.
Nice, dude.
Yeah. But so how'd you get into comedy?
What did I do? I went to UNC Wilmington, and I always wanted to do stand-up, but I didn't know if I was actually going to do it. And then my senior year, I had like a shit ton of electives, so I took like improv and like acting and like all this shit. And then my improv teacher was like, "Oh, there's also like there's Dead Crow. It's like a small club." And I was like, "Oh shit, I guess I'll do an open mic." And then I did an open mic. And I bombed. And then I got like mad that I bombed, and then I just kept doing it, and then I was like, all right. And now I'm here.
Did you have material for that first night? What were you? Do you
Yeah, I
remember?
like really, that was the thing too that annoyed me, because I like really prepared, and then like I still bombed. So I was like, fuck, and I got to figure this out. And then I just kept doing it. But it was weird though, because it was like at the same time I knew I wanted to do stand-up. So I knew I was going to do it. I think it caught me off guard, though, of, like, I didn't think I was going to do it, like, in college. I thought I was going to do it, like, later in life. And then I was like, all right, I guess I'll just do it now.
Was there like a certain time, like in the show, that you knew you bombed, or was it like right off the bat?
It was weird. I kind of had a feeling I was going to bomb, but,
Ooh.
yeah.
That's a shitty. I hate that.
Especially, like, the worst is when, it's weird. Like, I had an idea, like, because before I did stand-up, all I did was, like, watch it. And then, for me, I don't know, everyone's different. For me, there was, like, a huge... everything changed from, like, when you're just watching stand-up, you're like, all right, this is stand-up. And then when you're on stage is when it hits you of you're like, no, this is stand-up. And they're, like, two completely different things. And then you realize it on stage, you're like, fuck, this is so different. Like, so then you just got to, like, figure it out.
Who were you watching, like, as a kid? Like,
The first stand-up I ever watched was Cat Williams in his green jacket.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I ever saw, and I was like, this is fucking so funny. This is the funniest thing ever. And it's still funny. I actually watched it. I was telling somebody about this. I watched it again, like, a few months ago, and I was like, this is still funny. Like, this is so fucking funny. He's amazing.
Is he still touring?
I think so, but...
Yeah, I'm sure he's doing
Yeah,
something.
I think he
Somebody
probably
must be.
changed his shit up a little bit, but that special is like gold, dude.
That
That's
one, I
so
can't remember,
good.
whatever the one where he's playing just Rick Ross hustling at the beginning. That's
yeah,
just like the first
yeah.
10 minutes. I watched that like religiously.
Those two specials, so
Yeah.
fucking good. He's so underrated too, because like I feel like people know who he is, but I feel like they don't give him like the respect that he deserves, you know?
Yeah.
Because he's like, he was funny during that time, and then I think he kind of was like, I have a shit ton of money, I'm gonna chill out for a little bit. But then if you go back and watch, you're like, no, this is a fucking killer, dude.
I mean, didn't Cat Williams get beat up by a 12-year-old though?
Yeah, that's not his best thing.
Yeah, no, that's funny as hell.
That's true. That is funny.
That's made me laugh harder than the footage itself.
Yeah, that's very because it's like, yeah, well, he's good at stand up, but not jujitsu or anything else.
I mean, I think he just clearly underestimated the 12-year-old.
Oh,
I think we've all been there. Underestimate a child, and they will put you on your ass.
Yeah, I don't even know. I remember seeing that video too. I don't even know how that started. The 12-year-old just attacked him.
I don't know, but that's my defense of Cat Williams. He probably underestimated.
He just got choked out.
Was it a big 12-year-old?
It was a big 12-year-old, but I mean, I think
Cat Williams isn't that big.
I was gonna say they were probably the same height.
I mean, when he was 12, he was probably like a quarter of that size.
Cat Williams has to be at the most 5'6", I would say.
Yeah, that sounds.
He started weightlifting after that. His next stand-up
I would have done
a tank top.
He just got.
He's just got bulked.
Yeah.
Been talking to Kevin Hart.
If you get choked out by a 12-year-old, you gotta
evaluate your life.
So how long after that first appearance did you get back on stage? Like, were you ready?
Every week, yeah. So in Wilmington's different though. Wilmington, you can go on stage. At the time, it was like just Thursday was their open mic, and then there was like one other open mic. So you could only do like 2 times a week. So I would just do that, and then I just slowly got better. And then I moved. The biggest change was I graduated, and then I moved back to Raleigh. And in Raleigh, you can go on stage like every night. So then that was how like I got better. And then I realized like, oh, this is stand up, like doing it every day, because you can like feel it come together more on stage. Whereas like in Wilmington, the Wilmington scene's a lot better now. You can go on stage a lot more now. I'm not trying to like shit talk Wilmington, but at the time you could only go on stage like 2-3 times. So it was weird. It was like, this is kind of funny, and then you can't work on it again for a week. So you're like, fuck. But in Raleigh, it's like you can have an idea, and then go on stage, and by the end of the week, it's like a completely different idea because you're just doing it every day. Yeah.
Do you see like your material get different reactions from different like venues and crowds?
Yeah, and that's what's good about this area too for comedy, where it's like in Wilmington you're kind of just in Wilmington, but here it's like, okay, I can have a new idea, do it in Raleigh on Monday, and then Tuesday I can do it in Durham, and then Wednesday I can do it in Chapel Hill, and then Thursday I can do it like at a club, and then Friday I can do it at a different club. So it's like, oh, I can not only do this all week, I can do it in front of like different people and like different areas. Like Chapel Hill, Chapel Hill's very liberal, so like they get very offended, and you can only talk about like certain types of shit in Chapel Hill. Chapel Hill sucks for comedy. They fucking
shout out to Chapel Hill. Shout out to Chapel Hill.
Chapel Hill. Did you go to Chapel Hill?
Yeah,
you
I
did. No, well, okay. This is how I open my. I do this like every time I go to Chapel Hill. I have an opener where I'm like, I'm happy to be here in Chapel Hill. Like, this place is sick. Like, you guys have, like, a great school. You have a great basketball team. You have great bars. You have hot women walking around everywhere. Like, this town has everything except people who like comedy. That's how I open in Chapel Hill. Because it's literally what it is. It's, like, an amazing town. They just don't like comedy for whatever reason. Like, the biggest show I've done in Chapel Hill is, like, 30 people. Dang. Yeah. But it makes sense. It's, like...
It's a classroom.
Yeah, it's literally a classroom. It makes sense, though. It's like you have these women everywhere at bars. Why would they be like, local comedy? Hold up. It's like, that makes sense.
Nobody lonely in Chapel Hill?
No, I don't even know. But I go to Zog's like every Tuesday, and there's like 10 people there. So, but it's fun.
So like around Raleigh, which are your hot spots? Usually?
Raleigh
in terms
is,
of like venues.
Haymaker, there's 2 on Wednesday. There's like Haymaker and Halcyon, which are on Glenwood. And then there's Monday's Durham. So it goes like Monday, Durham, Tuesday, Chapel Hill, Wednesday, that you can do 2 in Raleigh. Thursday, there's Comedy Works and Crafty. So you can go 2 Wednesday, 2 Thursday. And then Friday is Dirty Bull in Durham, which is sick. If you guys have ever been there. That's literally like an open mic that has like 70 people, 80 people. It's like a show. It's fucking crazy. Like every week, too. Which is dope. And then Saturday and Sunday, there's usually nothing, unless you're booked at, like, a club. So, yeah.
Durham, So like, how's Durham versus Chapel Hill?
Is this the podcast?
Yeah, we're going.
Are we really?
Yeah.
Holy shit! What's up? I'm Chris Rivoli. Dude, I had no fucking idea.
Got
we were
you.
recording. I was about to be like, dude, when does this podcast start, dude?
We're in it.
Okay,
Yeah,
that makes so
yeah.
much sense in the beginning. If you were like, could you not fuck with the mic? I was like, dude, it hasn't started yet. What the fuck? Okay, cool.
Yeah,
That
it's
makes
been on this whole time.
so much sense.
That's gonna be part of it too.
Yeah.
Like,
Dude, that's
you
sick. So
fucking-
the intro is me like walking up the steps, and I'm like, dude, let's
Grabbing the
podcast.
mic.
That should be how it starts.
Yeah.
Dude, let's podcast. And then we just start. Fuck. Do you have an intro song or anything?
We have a little
Yeah,
intro
we have a
beat.
little intro. It's just a little drum break into that.
Oh, dude, I'm so
Sorry.
happy I like asked about this before I started talking hella shit about so many people.
No, we wish. We
Oh
wish.
no! Well, now I know.
We
Like this is the
edited-
podcast.
We edited.
Our
Okay.
viewership,
Yeah.
Cool.
You know, would love
I
that.
had no idea. Dude, Chris, we heard you on this podcast. You were talking shit. Dude, I didn't know they started the podcast until we were 30 minutes in. That makes so much sense. Oh man, I feel so much better.
We're recording it.
Fuck yeah, dude. That was honestly it made my life easier. For 20 minutes, I didn't even know if we were on. I
Yep.
was like,
We try to
Um,
make it as candid as possible.
fuck yeah, dude. No, that's dope. That's dope.
Hey, I was borderline illegal, man.
Honestly, kind of. No, I'm just kidding. It's either way. I don't.
Hey,
give
put a
shit.
sign up. There needs to
Yeah.
be a sign there. We're
Should.
recording.
Yeah, we
Tell it or
we always, you know, if anything good you want to chop, I always, you know.
Okay.
We send you the
Yeah.
Or if you want to add something.
Yeah.
No, we're all
you haven't
good.
added anything.
Yeah.
Dude, I think dudes. This is what dudes are so funny because it's like I just met y'all and like I just woke up one day and y'all sent me a DM and y'all were like, "You want to do my podcast?" And I was like, "Sure." And then you just sent me an address and now I'm here. It's like I could have easily just been murdered.
Yeah.
Like this is such
Still
a
can.
dude thing. Still can murder me on the podcast. It is such a dude thing of like I was driving
You
here.
would
It's
have
like
to cut it out though.
you definitely have to. I don't know how.
Cut what out?
Yeah,
Be specific
exactly.
about it.
I don't know how intense this podcast is. You could leave it in, but yeah, this is such a dude thing. This is sick though. I like it, and I also like the just fucking throwing me into the podcast. I walked into the podcast.
Pretty much.
True.
That was,
Really?
that was
It
dope.
was like recording. It started recording pretty much yesterday.
Nice.
Before we even started making it.
Fuck yeah, dude. These mics must be sick too, because I'm talking nowhere into them. So
They collect pretty good audio. It'll
Yeah.
be, yeah. Lucas will.
No,
chop
yeah,
it
they
too.
do pretty well for
nice,
what they
man.
need to do.
How many? What episode is this?
Sad. No.
It kind of
Seven?
depends because we might
Six.
release it before another one, so it'll probably be 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seven?
Yeah.
Nice. I had a podcast, and I still do it. I just do it very inconsistently. But when I started doing stand-up, I also had a podcast, and I got to like episode like 30, and then I gave up on it, and I deleted them. Don't delete episodes, by the way. If I could give you guys any advice, don't delete episodes. Because what's going to happen is you're going to get... It's just like any craft. Like, same thing with stand-up. Like, you're going to get good, and then you're going to get so good at it to where you're going to start listening to the first few episodes, and compared to where you are at episode 100, you're going to be like, fuck, these suck. So you're going to want to delete them. Because you're like, I'm here now. But
Right.
not just leave them in. Because it's like, then you'll just keep deleting shit.
Yeah. No.
If that makes sense, you know? Yeah, so that was my one regret, because I deleted a bunch. And then the second piece of advice I have is, if you can honestly keep... So let's say you do... So let's say, what's today? Sunday?
Sunday.
You do these every Sunday?
Yeah.
If you can do these every Sunday for like 50 episodes, it's like insanely impressive. Like most podcasts don't. Most podcasts are literally, people will do them for 15 weeks in a row and then they stop. So it's like consistency is really, really, really hard.
Getting past that beginning part, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're still working on it.
Yeah. We typically like release every 2 weeks, but trying to record
Nice.
in stockpile.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So I think, what was it about Durham?
Oh,
How
really?
is Durham?
For
compared to
comedy?
yeah, Chapel Hill. You said
Durham's
pretty-
actually dope, dude. Durham is like, Durham's kind of similar to Raleigh, I wouldn't think that, but in terms of comedy, it's kind of like, I've done like really dirty, dark jokes there, and it's worked out, and I've also done like clean jokes there, and it's been fine. Which is very similar with Raleigh. Chapel Hill's the only place I've been where it's like, all right, this could go like everyone bombs in Chapel Hill. I've done well in Chapel Hill also, but I've like Chapel Hills, you gotta just, like, kind of, like... If I have, like, a very dark joke, I'm like, this probably isn't gonna work in Chapel Hill. But, I don't know. But, yeah, it's different. That's what gets you good, though, at comedy. You want to go... Like, you need that if you want to be good at it.
Trim it.
Yeah, like, if you just go... Like, there's people that just do... I mean, it's kind of the same thing in everywhere, too. But, like, there's people, like, in New York. Like, there's people who just do comedy in Brooklyn. Which is fine. You'll get good. But it's, like, you kind of want to go everywhere. You want to almost go to rooms where they're not going to like you. Because then you'll figure it out. In a way.
Have you, like, found that, like, where have you been able to go to? Like, have you been going around? Like,
Yeah, well, it's tough because it's, like, there's only so many places you can go. But, like, North Carolina has a good comedy scene in terms of we can go on stage, like, 4 to 5 times a week, but it's the same. It's the same things every time. Yeah, so it's like I'm going to Raleigh, I'm going to Chapel Hill, I'm going to Durham, but it's like, all right, I'm going to go to these, like, 2 places. And until the mic dies. Usually open mics only last for, like, 6. Open mics are very similar to podcasts. If you can have an open mic last longer than 6 months, that's impressive. Because usually the bar staff is like, you're ruining business. We need to shut this down. And you're like, that's understandable. We just had 40 dudes talk about fucking the same topic in a row and bombing. But yeah, man, it's fun. My process has changed, though. Like, when I first started comedy, I would just go on stage every day and write every day. Which for me worked, and it was like, I feel like that's what I needed, but now I'm going through, like, a different process in terms of, like, now I'm letting it come to me more, and now I'm, like, not making myself write every day, and I'm not even making myself go on stage every day. Now it's to the point where it's like, if I have an idea and I actually want to write it out, then I'll write it out, instead of, like, just forcing everything, because it's like, you get to a point if you keep forcing it, it's just like it's not. And the audience can tell, too, if you're forcing something. So,
what are a couple good ideas you've been working through lately?
In terms of, like, not forcing things? Just kind of, like, just not being, like, so hard on myself. Like, I was really hard on myself in the beginning of, like, I have to write, I have to go on stage. And, like, some days you're just tired. And, like, the audience can tell you're tired. So, like, that's a big factor now. Like, because I have a day job, too. So, it's like, if I work all day and I'm, like, really tired, I'm like, the old me would be like, you gotta fucking David Goggins it through, baby. Like, you know, you gotta fucking run 50 miles a day. But now it's like, no, I can take a day off and I'll be fine. And, like, I was just in L.A. I was in L.A. for 8 days. I just got back. And I didn't do any comedy. And it was fun because last night I did, like, 35 minutes, and I was like, oh, this is fucking awesome. Like, because I have all these jokes that I've told 500 times. And then I was just in L.A., and I had 8 days off, and then I came back and was able to tell these jokes again, and I was like, oh, this is fun again. So it's like, it's better, as opposed to just, like, forcing yourself through everything.
Did you go see some comedy while you were out there?
Yeah, I didn't do comedy, but I went to the Comedy Store on Tuesday and Saturday, and it was fucking awesome. That play, you guys gotta go. It's fucking insane.
Who are the top people you saw those days?
Sebastian Maniscalco.
Okay, word, yeah.
He crushed. He was awesome. And I saw Bobby Lee on Saturday.
Bobby Lee.
Do you guys listen to Tiger Belly?
No.
He has a great podcast. But Bobby Lee's also hilarious. They're crazy out there, though, where it's like, comedy's different everywhere. Like, some places it's like, like here it's like typical stand-up. They, like, it's still stand-up, but they're like, it's like, I can't even explain it. It's something like I've never seen before. They're just so...
More eclectic? Or...
Yeah, it's just like, you don't know what's going to happen. It's just like chaos, but like in a great way. It's so cool.
Crowds are pretty open then there.
Yeah.
So
For
like,
sure.
They have, like, more harsher jokes.
It's just, like, insanity. Like, there's things that happen there that would like never happen anywhere else. Like people are fucking like taking their shirts off on stage and like just like chaos. But it's like it's crazy. And it's just like this is the comedy. Yeah, it's like this is the Comedy Store. Yeah, and it's crazy too because like at Good Nights or at like the Improv, like any club, whoever's headlining, they usually have like a guy drop them off and they like walk through the back and they walk into the green room. So if there's like a headliner here, if you're in the audience, you just see them go on stage and off, and that's it. The Comedy Store is literally like, I literally got up to go to the bathroom, and as I'm walking to the bathroom, a guy walked past me and he like grazed my shoulder, and he was like, "Oh, my bad, buddy," and I was like, "Oh, dude, you're good," and I realized as I'm saying, "Oh, you're good," I was like, "Oh, that's Neil Brennan." Like they're just around like the club.
Cool.
Like you can walk to the bathroom and there's nowhere really for them to go. So like they're in the hallways, and then that was the first time I was at the Comedy Store, so I didn't know like where to go. So the show ended, and I walked out the back, which I don't even know if you're supposed to do. I just didn't know where I was going. And I walked out back, and they're just like all hanging out. Like there's no room for. I thought it was gonna be like, this is the Comedy Store, so like we have to put them in this room so you can't see. It's like, no, they're just everywhere, and it's like A-list celebrities just sitting around, and you're just like, this is fucking insane. Like it's just so totally different.
So just like it looks really nice from the inside, and then it's just kind of open ended.
Yeah.
On the other side, that's funny.
Seems like you got a little starstruck there.
Yeah, a little bit. It's like, it's crazy like how casual it is. So like I thought I was gonna be starstruck, but it's more of just like, yeah, I feel like starstruck would be like if I saw one of them and was like, like what do I say? And it wasn't really that. It was more of just like, it was so like. I'll give you an example. Like if there was like 3 A-list celebrities like in Raleigh at a coffee shop, there would be like people surrounding them, and they'd be like, "Yo, can I get a photo? Can I get a photo?" What was crazy was it was like all of these celebrity comedians, but like there were like I didn't see anyone like Bobby, can I get a photo? Can I get a photo? Or like chasing them around. It was like everyone was just kind of like chilling with them. It's very cool to watch. Of like, oh, this is just there. Everyone's chilling, and I don't know if it's more of like the social media era where now people are more like understanding that like no, not every person wants a photo every time of the day. So maybe people are just getting more accustomed to that. I don't know, but it was sick, man. It was dope.
Oh yeah, saw some Kobe murals out there as well.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I fucking took so many. See, I don't know if a lot of people know this. I am a huge Kobe Bryant fan. So some of my friends were like, "Bro, you went to LA and took pictures of Kobe murals." I was like, "Bro, I've been a Kobe fan. Before I did comedy, I played basketball. I played for my middle school. I played travel, like just fucking 5'8" Italian baller, dude, and just played basketball. Kobe Bryant was my favorite player, still is. And then I stopped playing basketball because I stopped growing and I'm Italian. So I was like, I gotta figure something else out. But Kobe's still my favorite player. So I went out there and it was fucking sick, dude. Like, and I told my friends this. I was like, on my story, I posted like 7 Kobe murals. That isn't even close to, bro. LA, every block is like multiple murals of him. Like you could go down one block and take like 7 photos. He's everywhere. Like they fuck with him out there.
24, 8 or 2.
All of it. It's like Kobe. They have They got his face, his number, both his numbers, his daughter. Like it's like insane how much love they show him out there. It's so crazy.
I guess you didn't go at a time when you could have caught a game.
I know, dude. Yeah. Thankfully, that my cousin lives in downtown LA, so I'm like, dude, next time I go back, we'll watch. I guess we'll watch Bron when he's 55 years old.
Cartilage in his knees are completely out.
Yeah, right.
You want to see him kind of.
Dude, I don't know. Apparently he played in some random league. I haven't been following basketball too much, but apparently he just played in some Drew League.
Yeah,
and dropped
Drew League,
what 46? What even is that?
I think it's like some weird. It's like a really good adult league. I'm assuming
Yeah,
Like, dude,
it's like a pro
rec
am summer
basketball,
league.
rec
essentially.
basketball.
He's just playing in a rec league, just demolishing.
Rec league is super competitive now.
Oh,
like,
fuck
for
yeah.
basketball, like pickup basketball is crazy.
Yeah, dude.
Right now.
But yeah, I saw Kobe his last season in Charlotte actually.
You did?
Yeah, it was pretty dope. He
Fuck.
dropped he probably dropped 25, but he probably took 30 shots. But it was still
Yeah. That
but
sounds like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was dope to see him still wasn't at his best, but
Yeah.
That was the one year when I was like, you know what, it's okay. Just take 50 shots. However many shots. I don't know how many shots he took his last
dude,
game.
he literally took like 55 shots his last game.
I was like, fuck it. Like,
and he
whatever.
scored like 61 points. It was
Yeah.
still
Yeah, I
crazy.
was like-
You know what I tell people though? Bro, imagine this. Everyone's like, he took 55 shots. I get it. He didn't play the best game ever, but he still dropped 60. But dude, imagine this. You're in the Staples Center, right? It's your last game, okay? There's, 30,000 people? It's 30,000 people to watch your last game. It's like the Warriors were playing when they were like the best team ever, and more people were still, it was like, I don't know the exact numbers, but people were really concerned about this game. The front row of this game is Snoop Dogg, Kanye West, Jay-Z, some fucking, who's that actor who's always there? Jack Nicholson?
yeah.
Jack Nicholson,
Yeah.
Beyonce.
I think Spike Lee was nowhere to be found.
Bro,
Spike Lee.
there's could you imagine? Like I've had shows before where I brought two of my friends, and my two friends being there, I've been like, fuck, bro, you got Jay-Z at your last game and Kanye and Snoop. Like, you know he's gonna be nervous, dude. Anyone's gonna be nervous for that. I can't imagine.
I don't know, still, you know.
Kobe's been through a lot. I'm sure he was nervous for that. Plus, like, he was like, "This is it." Like,
Yeah, I don't think he got
I
nervous.
have to do something well.
Or at least he didn't get nervous the way that other people get nervous.
I
Yeah,
think
it's
he got.
Kobe,
I
too.
think he got a little nervous in the beginning, and then like the second half of that game, he was just like locked in. Because the beginning, if I remember correctly, it was like he went like 0 for 5, and then he was like, all right, you're playing all right. And then like the fourth quarter, it was like he just didn't miss.
No, that was
Yeah.
2K. That was just 2K being like greedy for the
Oh, bro.
first quarter.
Yeah.
Selling it.
Yeah.
And the second quarter,
Yeah.
he picked up. He heated up.
Yeah.
You know, started greening some shots.
Oh yeah.
And then
Greening some
you
shots.
know, couldn't even stop.
And then he like just didn't miss
Didn't miss at all.
at all.
Yeah.
He made Kanye West smile, dude. That was crazy.
You know, it's that
Kanye
catch.
was probably pissed about
He's got
that.
catch
Yeah,
and shoot
right?
shot creator.
Yeah.
You know, he's got the best badges. You can't stop Kobe.
Oh yeah, and his whole
Yeah.
team, like literally the whole second half of the game, all of his teammates were
Yeah.
like, "You're not passing," and
No.
he was like, "What?
No, why would he?
Like, what is going on?"
When has he ever passed?
Never,
When
never.
has he ever
But
passed?
especially,
Shaq was like, "Could you pass?"
yeah,
me?"
Shaq was there too. Like, so everyone
Well,
was.
Shaq
out
was
there.
just there to be like, "I hope you lose."
Yeah, that is true.
So tired of you.
Yeah,
I was retired because of you, Kobe.
yeah, that's so true. No, that was crazy to watch. Like, I remember watching that game live. That was crazy. But damn, dude, you saw him in Charlotte.
Yeah, dude, it was insane. But yeah, it was a long time ago. Yeah, R.I.P. Kobe.
Yeah,
But,
R.I.P. dude.
Yeah. I'm not laugh at that, but yeah.
No, I feel you. It's
Yeah.
all good.
But yeah, so I don't know. I had a question about so in terms of I feel like in comedy art, there's like this big political divide, just like
Mhm.
there's in the I don't know, in the world. I don't know. How do you feel do you feel like that's a part of the issue, navigating in I don't know, certain areas are just really sensitive or very not how do you feel that I don't know exactly how to word it, but that to some extent there's just large sensitivity around talking anything political in comedy.
Yeah, there is, for sure. I don't really do a lot of politics, but I think everybody's different. My mentality is you just can't give a fuck. Especially if you really want to do this, you can't care. George Carlin has a really good quote of, he says, you can't care and be really funny. There's no way. You can't fucking be really funny and care what people think. There's just no way. He has a new documentary on HBO Max if you guys want to watch that.
I watched a little bit.
It's really, really good. But yeah, that's my mentality on it too. A lot of people have things too where they're like, I'll never apologize for a fucking joke. I'm fucking joking. But yeah, you gotta kind of watch what you say. But I think it evens out because it's like, I mean, look at Shane Gillis. Like he got, you know who Shane Gillis is?
No.
Yeah, so basically he wrote for SNL. He got into a lot of trouble, which sucks. But at the same time, it's like it doesn't suck because he's making more money now than before he got in trouble.
Yeah, I was gonna say the perfect example would be Dave Chappelle.
And Dave Chappelle too. Yeah, it's
he
like
totally,
he just
like,
took his bag and left.
Yeah, he went. They took that in stride.
Yeah.
That whole yeah.
Well, because think about it. It's like I think it all evens out because Dave has a special where he's like he has all this trans material,
Right.
and then fucking 17 editors are like writing these articles, and they're like, Dave Chappelle, a transphobic joke, and it's like you just gave me 17 articles of free publicity.
Yeah.
So it's like you're promoting
Everybody
me now.
just watched this. This is number one on Netflix.
Exactly, and it's like now he has the most viewed. I think he just put something else out on Netflix where it's more of a speech, but he's talking about his last special. And it's like it's the most viewed thing on Netflix. Like,
Yeah, of course it is.
yeah, and half of that though is because of all these other people being like, I want to hear what he has to say, and they're like studying his shit. But it's still like you're just giving him more publicity.
Right. Yeah.
Have you ever found yourself like, while you were on stage, kind of like thinking of maybe hesitating at all, or just like
Pushing
let's go?
some buttons.
Yeah, for sure. Well, because it's like I don't like ever go on there and I'm like I'm gonna just piss people off, but it's like some people, some people are just gonna get pissed off, and what I've learned is like you're gonna have days. Well, because sometimes you're just on stage and you're like, fuck. I had this idea, and I meant to say this, and I just said it like that, which sounds bad. But then you're like, whatever, that was one night. So sometimes you're just saying it wrong, and then other nights you're like, no, this is what I meant, and they didn't like it. And you're like, whatever. And it's all different. Like, I have a joke right now I'm doing where it's like, it's not driving me crazy, but I think it's interesting because it's like, it's either crushing or bombing. Depending on where I do it. Like the punchline, and I don't really have a lot of dark jokes, but I have this joke right now where it's just like, it's kind of dark, and it's like, I'll do it here, and it's doing very well, and then I'm doing it here, and it's literally just like, the whole audience is like, ooh, and I'm like, yo, I need to figure out, like, because you want to get it consistent across the board of like, no, this works, and that's where, like, I did it last night, and it was like bombing, and I was like, god damn.
Gotta ease them back in.
I know, yeah. It's weird. But yeah, I don't know. I think to answer that, I would say like you just gotta not care. Because in the beginning, I used to bomb. When I first started doing comedy, I would bomb, and like in my head, I would be like, "Oh, I just bombed. Like the audience hates me, the comedians in the back hates me, like everybody hates me." And then you realize, like the more you do comedy, like no one cares. Like, nobody cares. And it's the same thing when you do well. And then you have sets where you crush, and you're like, dude, I'm a fucking call HBO. And then you're like, oh, no, also, no one cares. So no one cares if I bomb, and no one cares if I crush. And if I do okay, still no one cares. And that seems, like, depressing, but it's actually not. It's freeing. Because now it's like, oh, well, now I can be free to just create and not give a fuck. The only time... It's different if you're like a famous headliner because now you have more eyes on you. But in terms of like local comedy, the only time people are gonna like really care is if it's like the 1% where like you go on stage and you say something like extremely ignorant. Then people will care, but it's like you got to be an idiot to do that, anyways. So yeah, you got to just not care and have like somewhat common sense. Yeah, for sure.
I guess depending on the night too, you feel out the crowd too. I mean, it probably varies based off weekday versus weekend nights.
Yeah.
Crowd wise.
Yeah, because open mics are like, if you have a really good open mic crowd, they still kind of know like, all right, this is really local comedy. But then when you host a weekend, it's different because it's like you're the host, so you're not really like the show, but you're still gonna do 10 minutes. But you're doing 10 minutes in front of people who paid to be entertained, which is completely different. I remember the first time I hosted a weekend, all my friends who already have done it, they were like, you'll see immediately, like it's different. Because if you're at an open mic, like the crowd's like the crowd understands, like, these people don't know what they're doing. So if you have a joke that's remotely funny, for the crowd just assuming you don't know what you're doing, they're like, fucking yeah. But if you go up in front of people who paid to be entertained, like, it's more of, like, they sit back and they're like, let's see if you can entertain me. So that if you get a laugh that way, it's like, hell yeah.
More rewarding.
Yeah, way more rewarding. Yeah, people who pay to be entertained are not going to give you anything. Ever. And you feel it immediately. You're up there and you're like, okay. Like, I remember the first weekend I had a guest spot and I was doing 5 minutes. And I had 5 minutes because I did 5 minutes at an open mic consistently and it would work. So I was like, I have 5 minutes. And then I did that 5 minutes on a weekend. And then it hit me. I was like, okay, I have 3 minutes. Because those other 2 minutes, they were paying to be entertained. And they were like, no, those other 2 minutes, like, I got nothing. So it's definitely different, for sure.
Well, speaking of weekend shows, I actually saw you when you were with JR. And
what show was it?
It was at Good Nights.
No, but, like, what show is it? Do you remember what show it was?
I don't remember exactly what date. It was a few weeks ago.
No, I know, but, okay. I'm assuming it wasn't the show I'm thinking of because you would have said it by now. But there was 5 shows, and every show was, 4 of the 5 were fine for me. But there was one show, I don't know how this happened, but I was just like, yo, are y'all ready to see your headliner? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, oh, you could do better than that. Are you ready for your headliner? And they go, yeah. And I was like, you've seen him on Netflix. You've seen him on blah, blah, blah. Ladies and gentlemen. And, like, for 7 seconds, I just blanked. Like, I straight up blanked. And I blanked to the point where the audience, like, in unison gasped. They were like, and I just went like this. I just went, J.R. de Guzman. But it was like those 7 seconds, dude, it literally felt like forever.
It wasn't that
Thank
long.
God, dude. Someone else went up to me and they go...
You should have Bruce Buffered it.
Yeah,
You should just scream it at the top of your lungs like you were summoning energy.
No, you should have said,
the depths of hell.
fucking
Yeah. You know what's funny? I was talking to Mello, and Mello's like a vet in the scene. He's been doing it for like 20 years. He's so good. I told that to Mello, and Mello was like, bro, you know what you got to do? And I go, what? He goes, dude, sometimes if you don't know their name, you got to get them really hyped up so it's so fucking loud in there. And you're like, you've seen him on Netflix. You've seen him on HBO. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for an episode. And it's so loud in there, they like don't know. They don't know if you got it right or not. It's just you have to like... That's another thing with comedy. Like 20% of comedy is like if you are just up there with stupid confidence, like they'll kind of be on board. Like that's some of comedy. Just see him on and you're so confident they're like, oh okay, like, and they'll just give it to you. But at the time I didn't know his name, so I was just like, and then they were like, and then I was just like, I know, you know his name. You know his name. And then I said his name. But yeah, man. And then my other friend went up to me and he goes, I saw you host for JR. And I go, what show? And he goes, you forgot his name. And I went, fuck. Yeah, I know. It was weird too, because the Thursday show I got his name. And then the Friday show I forgot it. and then all the other shows were fine.
But everyone went to Friday, huh?
Yeah, some fucking happened. I got too cocky with the intro. Sometimes the intro fucks me up. Because it's like, hosting's weird, because it's like, see, I haven't featured at a club yet, but I can't wait to feature, because what's cool about featuring is, like, the host does 10, when you feature, it's just like, you go up, do 20, get off. That's it. Like, you go up, do 20, get off. Same thing with headliner, you go up, do an hour, get off. Hosting is like, I have to go up there, address what's going on, like, are you guys ready? Are you guys happy to see this person? You guys ready to see this person? How you guys doing? Like, I have to, like, warm them up. So I have to have, like, the headliner's name in my head, the feature's name in my head. I have to have my set in my head. And then I have to have, like, this other shit in my head where I'm, like, warming them up, getting them ready. And then also have the other shit in my head of, like, thanks for coming out, please check our website. Next week we have this person, next week we have this person. And then on top of that, I have to have the headliner's credits in my head of like, you've seen him on this, you've seen him on this, you've seen him on this, give it up for this. So so sometimes hosting is like annoying because it's like, fuck, I just want to go up there, do my set, and get off. But that's not what it is. You have to go up there and you have like 7 things in your head, and it's like, oh, I'll do this now, I'll do this now, I'll do this now. So sometimes you can get shit mixed up. Whereas featuring, it's just like, oh, I can just fucking go up there, say whatever I want, and get off. So that's like way more freeing. So one day I'll get there.
So Goodnights is moving at some point, isn't it?
Yes, they're moving. So they keep pushing it back. It's funny. Like in April, they were like, we're done in April. And then in May, they were like, we're done. And then they've been doing that until now. Now I'm 99.9% positive this last month is it. And then they're going to go to the KNW in Cameron Village.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Which is the temp spot.
Yeah,
which is the temp spot. And then they're going to go from there to still in Cameron Village. It's like, I forget exactly where it is, but there's like a mattress firm.
Oh, I think, I know where that is.
And then the mattress firm ends, and then Goodnights is like under it.
Okay.
So I don't know if they plan on like having the basement and upstairs too, or if it's just the basement. But I was actually just there scoping it out. It's gonna be sick when it's done. It's just a matter of they could be in this temp location they could be there for 6 months or they could be there for a year. Like, no one really knows. But either way, like, the club's not going anywhere, and, like, there's still going to be shows, so it's just a matter of...
So pretty much no laps then.
Yeah, their goal is to, like, they don't want to miss a weekend, and I don't think they will. So, we'll see, but...
Oh,
yeah, man. So, it'll be cool.
Interesting. Yeah, there's definitely be a lot more foot traffic there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
definitely.
honestly, it'll be pretty. It's pretty accessible.
They have bars open late there.
There's got to be something over there. If not,
sure. Yeah, I don't know if there's like I know there's like really good restaurants around there.
Yeah, there's really good ones.
Like Village is so good. Village. I don't know if there's like any bars over there, but I mean, I think they'll get more foot traffic there than where they are now.
Absolutely.
Because right now they're right next to a prison.
Yeah.
So, I saw Tim Dillon at Goodnights once. He was like, I need to be in the prison. He's like, that's my audience. I need to get them. I need to do a set for them.
That'd be nuts.
It is kind of crazy how there's just a prison right there.
Gotta go somewhere.
I know, it's so casual, and you're like, they're not escaping.
And I always see like protesters outside, like saying no to the death penalty, and it's like 3 or 4 of them. I'm like, that's not a very heavy protest. It's like maybe 4 people saying don't kill these guys.
Yeah. Yeah, straight up.
I mean, straight up, I'm like, there's no media coverage. It's just 4 people on a corner saying, please don't kill these guys.
And like all the prisoners are looking out the window, like watching these 4 protesters. They're like, I'm gonna die. There's no way.
I wish I could kill those guys.
Yeah, I wish I could kill
those guys. Those are annoying.
No way. Yeah, we got 4 people outside protesting that they don't kill you for your 20 murders. Let's see if that works out.
Just give them life. Just,
right.
Let's keep feeding them money.
Apparently, also, like, when I first saw that prison, I was like, oh, cool, they have a prison right next to Raleigh. It's probably, like, just like an average... If you have a prison that close to a city, how bad are these criminals?
It's going to be low security, right?
Right, yeah. So then you look it up and you're like, oh, no, these are very bad people. These are
the worst.
These are intense. You're in prison. There's no... That's what I've learned. There's no, like, oh, this is like a lower level... No, like, prison is prison. You've done very bad things.
I mean, they're probably going to chain gang these people for free labor. So, in honesty, the death penalty is kind of losing us a big part of our labor force. Gotta lock them up.
Somebody's got to break them. Somebody's got to hammer those rocks.
Yeah. On this next episode, we have Jim the Butcher. Jim, tell us about your creative process when chopping these people up. You guys got to get into the prison. Get one of them.
Yeah. He really has to think about it.
He
has to think about each part as if it were an animal.
I mean, dude, as heinous as it is, everyone had, like, Jeffrey Dahmer. He kind of had his process, and then Ted Bundy had his
but
process.
they also had their inspirations, their MOs, right? Jeffrey Dahmer is all about possession, and that's the most artistic form that you can think of. To possess somebody, to truly possess them is to be Lord.
Oh, and possession in terms of like he wanted to cut them up and like store each part.
Eat them.
Right.
And he tried to make one a zombie. It was actually a Filipino boyfriend of his.
Really?
Broke his head open and started filling it with hydrochloric acid, and eating away at the part of his brain that could stop him from resisting.
Did you see the movie?
No, I didn't see the movie. I read the book.
Don't watch. It's fucking so bad.
Yeah.
It's like creepy. It's like, have any of y'all seen it?
What's the movie?
It's just called Dahmer. I saw it like 5-6 years ago when I was not 5-6 years ago, like 3-4 years ago with my girlfriend at the time, and it was just like that was a weird movie to watch with your girlfriend. But no, it was just a terrible movie about Jeffrey Dahmer. It was basically they don't show him killing anybody, which is like, dude, you made a movie about a serial killer. How about show him killing one person? It's literally just him like playing with animals. The whole movie.
Is this my friend
Dahmer?
Yeah, my friend Dahmer is a book about his neighbor who grew up with Jeffrey Dahmer and always said there's something not quite right about that boy. But
right.
Like, who really cares though?
Yeah.
My whole thing is like, I guess that subverts the trope of like the neighbor is like, I had no idea what was going on. He always seemed like such a good guy.
Right.
No, this guy though. Saw something was wrong and said nothing.
Yeah, it's so bad. I'm pretty sure on Rotten Tomatoes it has like a very bad rating too. It's literally like, kind of going off of what you said. It's just like I knew that boy was bad, and it was just like one time he went to school drunk, and it's like I hung out with a lot of people who went to school drunk. They weren't putting hydrochloric acid in people's skulls.
Yeah.
There was that. So he goes to school drunk. Sorry, I'm going to spoil this movie for your viewers. He goes to school drunk. And then there's like one scene where he's just like cutting open an animal, and you're like, that's kind of weird. And then there's another scene where he's like talking to a guy at a party, and they're just like going back and forth, and he like keeps asking him questions about like, hey, what do you think like people's insides are like? And he's like, I don't know, dog, you weird as fuck. And it was like that's the whole movie. It's like it's so weird. But the Ted Bundy tapes on Netflix was very good.
I mean, Ted Bundy with Zac Efron was also rather interesting.
Right, who would have thought?
Wait, well, there was like a wave of
there's
Ted
two.
Bundy.
There's two different. There's the Ted Bundy tapes, and then there's the movie with.
There was like
Zac
a wave
Efron
of Ted Bundy.
Zac Efron. Yeah, that's wild.
People fell in love with Ted Bundy like 30 years ago, and then new people fell in love with Ted Bundy like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, man.
America loves serial killers.
Oh yeah, there's a
and like crime podcasts too, and serial killers. Yeah, it's wild.
A weird intersection between serial killers and comedy is the movie The Voices by Ryan Reynolds. Have you seen it?
What's that about?
Well, it was directed by the same person that actually wrote and drew Persephone. If you've ever Persepolis.
Persepolis, I think that
yeah. So apparently it's this guy, and he has schizophrenia. He stops taking his meds, and then he starts hearing his dog talk and his cat talk, and then he kills this girl that he really loves on accident. And then he cuts off her head and then puts it in a fridge and then starts talking to him. He makes out with it sometimes and then.
Talking to the head?
Yeah, because he's imagining it talking because he can disembody voices. It's called The Voices. So he can disembody voices. Got a killer soundtrack. Solid cinematography.
Dude, that's dope.
Yeah.
That's sick, man.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
So how's the comedy scene around here in terms of the community of people that you work with? They're
yeah, it's dope, man. Everyone's really cool, and it's I feel like there's a lot of people in their 20s doing it. We got a few people in their 30s, a couple people in their 40s, but everyone's really cool. For the most part, it's really supportive. It's just like anything where everyone's really competitive. So comedy's very weird where it's competitive, but it's no one wants to admit that they're being competitive. So there's this passive aggressive shit going on, which is normal in anything. But it's not it's not really toxic or anything. You just gotta learn how to live in the moment, as cheesy as that sounds, and just focus on what you're doing. Because if you start focusing on dumb shit oh, I bombed and I could tell that that comic in the back was happy to see me bomb because we get booked on the same shows and like we might be in like the same area or whatever. But like you got to stop like listening to that because sometimes it's not true. It's you making it up in your head, so it's not even true. Other times it is true, but it's like you can't like me focusing on that. Hey, me focusing on that is not gonna do anything, you know.
No.
So, yeah.
Who are some of the comedians you like to see, like if you're out around here?
Locally,
Yeah.
Mike Mello, legend. I literally call him the legend because he's been doing comedy for like 20 years.
All in Raleigh?
He's from here, but I forget when, but he's been on tour with like a lot of people, like Tracy Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
When he got into that like bad accident, like Mello was like on the road with him.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like Mello's been on the road with like a bunch of people. He's really good. He just I hosted for him when he headlined Dead Crow a few months ago. That was awesome. He's great. Justin Scranton won NC's Funniest last year. He's great. We got Brent Blakeney. We got Mark Brady. We got a bunch of people, but it's not the biggest scene in the world, you know. Like Atlanta's bigger scene, like Chicago's bigger scene, but we got a pretty good scene. We got a good group of comics, and yeah, it's pretty good.
What's the comedy that you're watching when you're at home?
So I try not to watch too much comedy just because, like, especially when you first start out, you
absorb.
Yeah, like, it's really easy to also, like, especially if they have, like a really fun cadence, like, Theo Vaughn has, like, a really fun way of talking. He's very, like, Crystalia has a very, like, way of talking. So you can, like, especially when you first start out, you can pick up on it. What I do now, though, is I still watch comedy, but I do this thing where it's like I'll watch this, like, once, and then I'll move on from it. Because if you just keep watching the same thing, it's like you can get in your head. But yeah, I think like Tim Dillon, I think is really funny. Theo Vaughn is really funny. I'm really happy I saw Bobby Lee because he doesn't go on tour, I don't think, anymore. He just kind of like does the Comedy Store.
Had to be in LA.
Yeah, he does podcasts where he says terrible things and people laugh.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Don't laugh, or I'm walking out."
Yeah,
then,
he's amazing. Bro, he literally was at a Comedy Store, and he had, like, this is just what I mean about the Comedy Store. He had a joke where, like, it was really weird, but, like, only this side of the room was laughing.
Huh.
Yeah, so, like, he had a joke, they all laughed, this side didn't laugh, and he was like, this side of the room didn't like that joke. He was like, just because of that, I'm going to show you all my pubes. And he just fucking took his pants off and showed all of them his pubes, and he was like, this is chaos. And it's like, if anyone else did this, it'd be like, and the whole crowd would be like, whoa, but it's Bobby. It's Bobby being Bobby, so they were just like, yeah. Like, it's fucking chaos.
That's funny.
Can't get away with that one in Raleigh, probably.
No. I mean, it's crazy. Like, it really depends who you are. Like, there's this guy, Jack Nelson. He's a Wilmington guy. He's super funny. And I always tell people, like, Jack is the only comedian I've ever seen. Like, sometimes the audience is drunk and they're annoying and they, like, don't stop talking. And you have to, like, figure out how to get them to stop talking, but in a way to where, like, they still like you. And Jack is the only person I've ever seen tell a crowd to shut the fuck up, and they will shut up, but they'll still like him. I've told crowds to shut the fuck up before. It does not work. It's like they hate me, and it's like they're gonna watch me die now, and it's just like fuck. But yeah, it really depends on like who you are. Like if you're authentically you up there, they understand. Like it's so obvious that like Bobby Lee is Bobby Lee. That's just who he is. So that's the goal too, to be like who you are off stage is who you should be on stage. Which sounds easy, but it takes a while to get there.
What are like you had I guess like top 3 of people you haven't seen that you would like to see?
Joey Diaz. I have seen Joe Rogan, but in my head I really haven't because, dude, so like 5 years ago, we saw Joe Rogan, and I was a lot younger at the time. So me and my friends were like, dude, let's get super fucking baked and watch Joe Rogan. So we took gravity bong hits, but we took gravity bong hits out of like a 2-liter bottle.
Oh, yeah.
So we were fucking... Long story short, we saw Joe Rogan, but we were so high, like, I barely remember this. So I'm like, did I see Joe Rogan? I don't even know. All I remember was he walked out, and he was like, North Carolina, why don't you guys have weed? Is weed legal? What the fuck? And then I was like, and then, like, he did an hour, and then the show ended, and I was like, damn, I got way too high. But Joey Diaz, I would like to see Rogan again, and I've seen so many people, like, I think those are the two people that I would like to see. Definitely Joey Diaz and Joe Rogan. But I just saw Sebastian. I saw Bobby Lee. I saw Tim Dillon. I saw Theo twice. That was sick. I saw Brian Callen. I saw, pretty much like I saw Dalia. I saw Eliza Schlesinger. She was the first person I ever saw do comedy live, which also changed my whole perspective of like, you watch comedy and then you watch it live, and then it's the same thing as like, you're like, oh, these are two completely different things. Like watching live comedy is so different than just watching it on Netflix.
Where did you see her that first time?
Good Nights.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she crushed. She's great. Who else? Ali Sadiq. He's great. Yeah, I've seen a bunch of people.
He sounds familiar.
Ali Sadiq. He has that.
Is he a Netflix special?
I think he put on YouTube. He has a really good story on This Is Not Happening about prison. That's probably how you know him. That has like 10 million views. It's really good.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He just sounds familiar in the ether, so I don't know actually enough in it.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about like your material. Like, have you ever had like any issues with writing, getting like some thoughts out?
Oh, all the time. That's like most of comedy. It's just like I think a lot of people who don't do comedy, they think like, there's this weird perception of like, oh, you do comedy, you're funny. So there's this idea of like, people think like you can just write jokes like fucking like all day, and it's like, dude, it takes like, if we're talking about like a new joke that works, probably one every 2-3 months. It's like a lot. So you would think comedy is this thing where it's like you just keep getting better, like that. But it's not like that. It's like you kind of like get good, and then you like nothing happens, and then you like get good again, and then
so you have to like kind of keep proving yourself.
Yeah, because it's like you'll have. I mean, I think everyone's different, but for me, it's like I won't write a joke. I mean, I'll write every day. I'll write like 2 to 3 days a week, but I'm not like writing anything that's like good. And then I'll do that for like 2 months. I'll just be writing, and then something will happen where I'll write a joke that works, and then it's like, in the span of 3 days, I'll write like a bunch of shit that works for 3 days, and then after that, it's like another month.
So you just kind of like find that pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it mostly observational stuff that gives you inspiration? You said you don't do a lot of political stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of like, I have
narrative.
Yeah, my set is basically like, I have like 5 minutes about my family, 5 minutes about being Italian, 5 minutes about like college and like doing drugs in college and getting fucked up in college, and then I have like a little bit about like anxiety, a little bit about dating, and then that's like most of my set, like just those things.
What's the Italian set transition from your family like?
That's the easiest transition.
I was gonna say.
Because it's just like I come from a crazy family, so I do those jokes, and then it's like I come from a crazy Italian family, and then I do like the Italian part. So that's like the easiest transition, and then that's hard too, because it's like you could write a good joke that's funny, but then you look at your set and you're like, where am I gonna put this? Because it will still work, but it's weird to be like, my family's crazy. I'm Italian, and then just to go from like the fucking, you know what else was crazy? The bank, and then it's like, it's like, what am I just gonna put that there?
Transition is funny.
yeah.
Like that's one of those meta transitions, dude.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like it doesn't make sense, but it's funny because it's like you just put it there. So yeah, you could do that, but you kind of want it to like flow very well. So yeah, sometimes you have a joke and you're like, what am I gonna do with this? But yeah, it all works out.
Did you grow up in a big family then?
Not a big family, but I have some jokes about my brother's 10 years older than me. So
just the two of you?
It's me. So my oldest brother's 10 years older than me, and then the middle brother's 6 years older than me.
Okay.
So it's like my whole childhood. I was just blushing. My whole childhood, I was just hanging out with like people a lot older than me, and just like things like that, like what's it like to have a brother that much older than you, like just hanging out with, like I was fucking 9 hanging out with like 19-year-olds, like that can't be good for you at all.
Great.
Yeah, but it's fun. No, it's fun. Yeah, it's fun as fuck, and then you're like, oh, I was kind of traumatized, whatever. But no, it was all fun. But yeah, everyone's different. Like I know some people who don't write at all. Some people just go on stage. And it's like, that's fine too.
Just wing it.
Yeah, they just wing it.
Free ball.
Yeah.
That seems a lot more high stakes.
Yeah. It's rare. Most people go on stage and they're like, here's the shit I wrote. There's a couple people who like, they just go on stage and that's how they do it, which is fine.
Does Mitch Hedberg write? I feel like if you just have 1,000 one-liners in your head is a
yeah,
book
he
of,
must have.
Awesome.
Well, what's interesting about him is he wrote. R.I.P. Goat. He would write, but what was crazy about him was it's like, I don't know how he put them all in a set in his head and did them, but it seemed like his brain was like, all right, I have 50 one-liners, and instead of like saying, I'm going to do this, then this, it was kind of like, here are all my one-liners, and I'll just say them as they come in my head, which is crazy.
Well, I mean, he's tripping, right? And like, he's on the constant trip. But I really liked one of his one-liners. My favorite one is, I want to get incense that smells like cinnamon buns so that I can give my roommates false hope.
Dude's so good.
That's great.
I like his joke about, he goes, I like eating rice. Rice is really good if you're hungry and want 2,000 of something. It's so good. Oh, man. He's amazing.
Yeah, his delivery trips me out, too.
It's
just unique.
Him and, these are two completely different comedians, but him and Patrice O'Neal.
Oh.
If you don't know Patrice O'Neal, you gotta fucking listen to him. Yeah, he's just so smart. Well, he has a special. This is worth every penny, by the way. I don't really like to pay for shit, but he has it on YouTube. Patrice O'Neal, Elephant in the Room. It's like one of the best specials I've ever seen. So good, so fucking good. And it came out like in 2008, and it's still so good.
How do you feel about John Mulaney?
I just saw John Mulaney. Fucking awesome. You don't like him?
I like his narrative style.
Yeah.
Like the Pussycat stuff. And,
yeah.
But he doesn't have a lot of replay value because if you can anticipate where the narrative goes, it kind of takes away from the laugh.
Right. But I just saw him recently. His new hour, I don't know when it's going to be out. I don't want to give it away, but what's cool about it is his new narrative it's like a very different hour because now his hour is like, I got old and I was just in rehab because I was doing coke and Adderall and Xanax, and my friends had an intervention with me because I was so fucked up on these drugs. So like it's a completely different hour.
Straight-laced
right,
Mulaney.
Exactly, because in his
I did not know that.
yeah, he kept it really low. Another thing a lot of people don't know is too he like chain smokes cigarettes, and I think he also keeps that very low key. But yeah, it's a very different style of an hour, and it's very good, and it's very like interesting because it's just so different. He's fucking great too. I'll be honest. I told people this too. Like, I saw him at PNC Arena, which holds a shit ton of people. It's an arena.
Probably too big.
Yeah, but what he did was like instead of the whole arena, it was basically like, here's the stage, and like this part of it was blocked off, and he did like this part.
Yeah,
of it.
like a concert sometimes. They'll play like only.
I think Trey went to that.
Oh really?
I think he like got that for parents.
It's crazy. He's not Dane Cook.
But it was still like 12,000 people. And I'll be honest, I went there and I was like, I know John Mulaney's funny, but walking into it, I was like, I know he's funny, but like, is he 12,000 people funny? In Raleigh, and then I watched him, and I was like, oh yeah, he is. He's so fucking good. It's unbelievable.
What are some, what are some of your favorite venues you've seen shows at outside of like Comedy Store, Raleigh area?
Oof.
Comedy Store's that way, but
yeah, I was going to say, if we're talking just in general, I would say Comedy Store. I'm probably biased because I just got back from LA. Comedy Store is insane. I haven't been to the Comedy Cellar, but I've heard like Comedy Store, Comedy Cellar, probably like the two top places you can go. Good Nights is great. I know you said besides Good Nights, but like Dirty Bull in Durham has a great show. If you're ever going to see like local comedy, I would say go to Dirty Bull in Durham. Surf Club in Durham has a good open mic on Mondays. And Neptune's, if you follow Neptune's comedy, they have a monthly show that's really good. Like really, really good. And then like this is the thing about local comedy, like shit changes. So like there was this guy Matt who ran shows for like 2 years and they were like awesome. And then he was like, yeah, I'm kind of over it. So he just stopped. So it was like there was these great shows, and then sometimes people run great shows and then they just end.
Yeah,
and then you just gotta like start it up again. In September, I plan on moving to New York, so that's gonna be cool. If everything goes as planned in September, Long Island.
Okay, is your family from there?
Yeah, so I'm from there originally.
Where in Long Island?
Garden City, which is like not too far out east. So it's like it's like an hour train to the city. It's not too bad. My brother lives up there. Like I have a lot of family that lives on Long Island, so it'll be cool to like be back there. And I think I'm going there more for like. I feel like a lot of people move and they're like, I'm moving here for comedy, which like I am moving there for comedy, but I'm also moving there to like just literally. I feel like I need to get out of Raleigh for a little bit. And it's nothing like bad. I just kind of like I feel like I need to just be in a different place for a little bit. In terms of like maybe creatively, but also I feel like also people just get to a point where they're like I just need to move for whatever reason. I don't know why, but I have nothing against Raleigh. Raleigh's sick. I always tell people I think Raleigh's one of the most underrated cities. And Wilmington too, because it's like everyone knows that Boulder, Colorado's fun. Everyone knows that Denver's fun. Everyone knows Chicago's fun. I feel like a lot of people don't know like that Raleigh's like really fun. So I always tell people that it's low key.
Definitely be plenty of comedy opportunities in New York. I lived in Brooklyn for a little bit.
You did?
Yeah.
Nice. How was that?
Loved it. Yeah, I lived there for 2 years. You definitely should.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, now you'll be a quick train ride in.
Yeah. Do you skate?
A little bit used to.
A little bit?
Yeah.
Do you guys skate?
No, I don't.
I just saw the skateboard, so I was wondering.
Just stick around.
A box. You want to come
Nice,
boxing?
bro. I did Muay Thai for 2 years.
You want to come boxing with me?
Today?
Yeah.
No. Actually not.
This is what he does.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, bro. Where do you go?
I go to El Toro Judo Academy.
Nice, dude.
We have a whole boxing club set up there.
How long have you been boxing?
I've been boxing for 16 years.
Fuck, dude. That's a long time. How do you feel about the, what's your take on, like, the new science about, like, CTE and stuff?
I think that if we're worried about CTE, we're probably not in the right sport.
Right.
It's not for the people that are worried about the body.
Right, but it also depends on, like, if you're smart about, like, for Muay Thai, like, I'm sure you don't, like, do you spar, like, really hard?
No, but with Muay Thai people, I do spar harder than, like, with just regular boxing people, just because the tradition in Muay Thai is to spar hard. Like, people from Thailand, like Sijatong, that come out here, they spar hard. They swing hard. They throw you.
I thought it was the opposite, more of, like, yeah, I've heard different things. I think it depends where you go. Because I had a friend who went to Thailand, and their whole take is, like, maybe it was just the gym he went to, but he was like, they were sparring, and my friend was like, dude, I was going like 30%. And this guy in Thailand stops me. He was like, buddy, I have like 30 fights a year. And he was like, I can't, like, I guess it depends on the fighter too. Because it's like if you're in Thailand and you make your living off fighting and you have like 40 fights a year, you're like, dude, I can't spar hard. Because I have 40 fights.
The people that are having 40 fights a year are the ones that are stuck in the dregs. If you go to Sidyantong, those are the people that are like world champions that end up retiring. So they go hard. They want to reach the pinnacle, the point to like of death, of where you fight to kill and fight to die, and then you retire because you can't stay there for very long. So that's part of their discipline and their meditation. Right. So it's the concept of how deep do you want to go in? Right. Because if you want to die for this, I can show you how to die for this.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah, it's tough too because it's like, how do you want to approach it? Because it was like, you can spar, and like I don't know the answer too, but you can like spar lightly, and then when you're like getting ready for a fight, you like pick up the sparring, and then you have your fight. Or it's like there's people who are like, no, I don't do that. I just when I'm sparring, I'm fighting.
Well, you have Daniel Hooker. He'll say like, I'll do a month of hard sparring, and then I won't spar 2 weeks before the actual fight. Right. And then you have people like Nate Diaz who says, I spar every fucking day.
You have Nate Diaz who goes, I ain't no bitch.
I smoke weed. I'll fucking slap the shit out of you.
And I'll fight you in a bar. Yeah. If you want to, 2 days before a fight. They don't give a fuck.
And then you have Conor McGregor who punches people who are old on bar stools.
Yeah, that's been Conor McGregor, dude. Talk about a guy who changed, man. That's fucking.
Don't let money change you guys.
Yeah, for real. I mean, even up fucking 150 million, be tough, dude. But yeah, dude, I loved Muay Thai. Muay Thai was awesome. The thing for me with Muay Thai was, I think it helped me a lot. It helped me with my confidence. It helped me with a lot of things. And I did it for 2 years, and I got to the point where it was like, I was like, okay, I know how to punch, I know how to kick, I know how to like somewhat defend myself on a basic level. And then I got to the point where it was like, okay, I learned very quickly. I was like, I'm not like a fighter.
You can't get there. You don't want.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It was like, and I'm sure you have it because you've been doing it for 16 years.
Yeah, I just want to go there and die there.
Right, but not only that though. Like I learned quickly, like when you spar, because I've sparred like legit fighters, and what I learned, and I learned this very quickly, was like real fighters, they have like this switch where it's like, okay, we're going to hit pads. We're going to hit pads for like 30 minutes, right? So we're hitting pads, and it's like that's their switch. And then it's like, okay, now we're going to spar, and they know how to like turn that up. And then it was like, okay, well now we're going to like really spar. And it was like, you can see them change.
It's the eyes.
You can see it in their eyes. Yeah. You can see it in their whole mentality. And I was like, oh, that's something though you can't teach. Right. That's like you have that or you don't.
You can put someone in a life or death situation and run them through the test. Right. And if they fail the test, they don't have it.
Right. Like if you put, I agree with you. If you put anyone in a ring, like they'll figure out, because it's nature to defend yourself. But like there's this other thing where it's like, oh, you're genuinely trying to kill me. Right. And it's like, I was like, I don't think I have that. Yeah. Like I have to fucking kill you until this bell rings. Like, and it's crazy. It's like a different type of human.
People want that, go boxing with Jack.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
I mean, I can show you how to avoid all of that too.
Yeah. How?
Through boxing, footwork.
Yeah. But do you think it's more of a mental thing?
I mean, it's a mental thing until it's not. There's technique and there's the pocket, and then beyond the pocket, getting through the pocket is all a mental process. So how fast does your brain run? And is it running away from the fight? It shouldn't be running away from the fight. Right. If you train your brain not to run from the fight and actually calculate what's going on, you will be able to fight whoever.
Yeah. You know what pissed me off about fighting? Honestly, I started doing comedy too, and I was like, I just like this way better. I have so much respect for fighters, though. My thing with fighting, dude, was, all right, if we're sparring or whatever, and you hit me in the face, it's like, all right, you hit me in the face, right? If I land a punch on you, all right, I'll land a punch on you. What pisses me off is you get to a point with fighting where it's like, bro, I blocked your punch, and you're still fucking me up. Yeah. Like that was so frustrating.
The whole concept of blocking is dumb. Like, don't block. Yeah. You need to move a square away. You need to learn how to get off the midline. You need to constantly shift your midline so that when you do block, like the 52 methods of getting a block off
right.
glances off and allows you to do a carriage punch or some type of counter.
Right,
You never
right.
allow yourself to just be a punching bag.
That's true.
At that point, just take a knee and reset because you're being a bitch boy.
Right,
and you need to
right.
fucking get your
fuck
shit together.
Bro. Fuck those pussies, dude.
Yeah, get your shit together.
Hell
You're gonna fucking lose.
Hell
you want to lose?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good point of like, but sometimes you're like, damn, dude. Dude, good thing I brought these gloves, man.
I have two. I have two go right now.
Fuck yeah, dude. No, I'm good, man.
It's like, yeah, I have to.
I actually have to fight you right now. Actually,
no.
Yeah, we forgot to tell you can't leave until we box. That's how we end the podcast.
It's now. I mean, it started.
Oh fuck, dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's okay.
It's 26 minutes away.
Yeah. Did you guys have any main questions?
Not boxing related, no.
No,
dude.
definitely not boxing.
we got into it about fighting.
Yeah, I think we touched everything I wanted to touch.
Yeah. Do you have anybody want to shout out?
No, but July. When does this come out?
We might honestly release it this week because I was gonna have to talk to you about this, but we'll release it this week and then.
I didn't talk any shit, so I don't need anything to be cut out.
Except about Chapel Hill.
Yeah.
Chapel Hill,
save the music
city that doesn't like
comedy.
No, Chapel Hill's dope, dude.
Oh, yeah, this one.
But yeah, alright, we're good so far. But yeah, but no, sorry. Yeah, probably honestly this week.
Okay, now either way, that's perfect. So Wednesday, July 27th, I'll be in the semifinals for NC's Funniest. If you guys want to come out too.
Yeah.
Wednesday, July 27th. I think it's at. I have it in my phone. It should be at 7:30. So you would want to get there around Good Nights Comedy Club, West Morgan Street. Here's the email.
7:30.
Yeah, it starts at 7:30. So
I can definitely do that.
you want to get there like 7-ish. But yeah, July 27th, NC's Funniest is the semifinals. And then if I win, I'll let you guys know. I'll tell you when the finals is.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Also at Good Nights?
Yeah.
Very nice.
So.
And what does winning come with? What is
winning, you get, honestly, like, if you win, like, you think your life's going to change, nothing changes. But they do give you, like, you'll win, like, $1,500.
Nice.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
But other than that, the story is, like, people win NC's Funniest and they think, like, they're like, oh, what's next? And it's just like, you just kind of won a contest. And they give you some money and that's it.
You should now go on America's Got Talent.
Yeah. If I win, though, I'll take that money and I'll join your boxing gym.
Hell
the boxing gym's free. I don't charge.
Fuck.
Yeah, I think it's morally.
It's gonna be one of those things where I was like, bro, sorry, I can't afford it, and it's like, no, I'll see you tomorrow.
No, yeah, we have boxing going.